We're going to do a quick walkthrough of my wife's 1970 F-250 camper special. Granted, forewarning, everything on this is an F-250 except for the drivetrain. As far as the engine and transmission, it was swapped before we got it with a 302 small block and a C4 Automatic, which I've rebuilt and I'm going to have to rebuild again. When we got this truck, it had no hood, no driver fender, and no bed. But we traded it straight across for a running 82 Ford F-150 with a 300 inline 6 and a 3-speed with a granny low manual transmission, 2-wheel drive. My wife's favorite year for their favorite year, and this truck was a big project, but my favorite part was the cab had zero rust. It had a title with it, and everything we hoped was running. When we did our diagnostic on the engine, we fired it up without the tranny in it. It ran great. Just needed a little bit of tuning. Obviously you can tell the inside's not done yet. My wife might kill me for making a video without it done, but it's graffiti weekend. We've got a lot of classics driving around in our town through the middle / last week or second week of July. So in lieu of this, I like seeing everybody's classics run around. And my favorite part is my wife's paint job. She didn't know what color to go with. She likes this blue, and I told her to do a blue and black. And when we got started with the blue and black, it turned out amazing. Engine bay here, like I said, 302 small block. This, when we got it, did not have a power steering bracket, so we had to buy an aftermarket one and make that work from Amazon. It was a pain, but it worked. It bolts in through the water pump, which sucked, and then the cooler I got to bracket on there through one of the holes it had with a bolt and some lock nuts and washers. My biggest pet peeve is I can't tension this belt as much as I want to because this nub bottoms out on this bracket. So if I was able to just shave this down, I could get it tensioned all the way. But getting a belt that fit was a big pain. So if you ever have to buy that aftermarket bracket, it will work. It is just a pain in the butt. We had to buy a different radiator, so it's similar factory radiator to a 360, which is originally what was in here, but we had to buy a new one because the core on my wife's other one was shot. I did add a subwoofer and amplifier, so that's what that fuse is there. All the wiring is yet to be fully completed, so that is still work in progress. We do have short tube headers on this one. Got a good exhaust system on it because we plan on dropping a 460 in here when we can rebuild the 460 core that we have. So it's going to get a 460 in it, and we're going to trade it over to a manual transmission when we do that. But it's got 2.5-inch pipes, true duals, and it does have a Super 10 2-in 2-out muffler. It is fairly loud, but we love it. It sounds amazing. It sounds like an American classic, and it sounds the way it should, in my opinion. Granted, that's just my personal opinion. Everybody can drive these trucks as well as they want. So to each their own. I think everybody's taste and flavors are great, especially just keeping these things alive. My wife and I are 30 years old, but we have been into these trucks since we got together. My wife's family's been having these since she was born, and she got me into them when we got married. So one of the biggest pluses of getting married is sometimes the family traits are good ones. I would have never been into classics if it wasn't for her and her family, so I got to give her and her family kudos for that. But let's go ahead and fire this up. It's cold, so it's going to take it a minute. We got a tachometer that we've added in this one. Located right down here. Put a new stereo deck, and like I said, it does have a subwoofer in it as well, so I'm sure you guys can hear it. It does have a weird droning that the exhaust does at somewhere between like 1,000 and 1,200 RPM. You'll hear it here in a second. But other than that, this exhaust system is absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favorite exhaust systems. I also have a weird niche with the gauge cluster. Notice how none of the gauges are working until you turn the light switch on. I have changed out the voltage regulator in the dash. I have checked all the ground wires. For some reason, that. Once you get above it, it's fine. Yeah, we got it running now. I'll go out so you guys can listen to this. This is my favorite part, is this exhaust system. Put up the phone so I can give it a couple of revs so you guys can listen to it. Like I said, that is my favorite part of this truck, is the exhaust system that we got put on it by our local exhaust shop. It sounds amazing. I'll show you the exhaust system setup that they ran. Like I said, there's the Super 10 Flowmaster, 2 in, 2 out. Ran it just underneath the transmission there, and then connected it up to the short tube headers, and it sounds amazing. It's got the one saddle tank on it. We took the behind the seat tank out to fit the subwoofers in. It's got a 373 gear ratio rear end. Like I said, 2-wheel drive, and the speaker setup was really good, but unfortunately the back of the cab had a little bit of water leakage in it. But this is the setup that I have for our subwoofers and sound system. Got some Rockford Fosgate 4-way, I believe they are 7x9 speakers, 2 8-inch dual subwoofers with a Boss amplifier. System sounds really good in here. Very little droning with the positioning of these speakers. It actually stays in the cab. If you're listening to music and you're standing outside the cab, you don't hear it. It's only in the cab, which is amazing, because usually these speakers get obnoxiously loud in here, especially with how hollow out these cabs are. But this sound system works really, really good. So I hope you guys enjoyed going through my wife's F-250 with me. Eventually we will do another video when we get the 460 built up and in this thing, but I'll put a picture in here possibly of what it looked like previously in the comments below, if it'll let me. I don't know if it'll let me do a picture comment, I doubt it, but this truck was, like I said, no bed, no front driver fender, no hood, and didn't have the transmission in it, and the engine wasn't currently running. So for it to be in the condition it's in was a lot of work, but well worth it in my opinion. Amazing truck. Hope you guys enjoyed it.